Excellent. And Bianca, I haven't forgotten you. Hello, Bianca.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to a few of you. Welcome to today's community briefing. My name is Gregory Sneed, and also welcome to the month of December 1st. And I was thrown off because last night was the lighting of the Rockefeller Center tree, which usually happens in December. I was like, wait a minute, this is still November. But I guess because the month started early. But anyway, to me, the holiday season doesn't start until the Rockefeller Center tree gets lit up. And of course, I'm a New Yorker, so that resonates with me. Been there many times to watch it go on, both from inside and outside. So welcome to the holiday season. Welcome to December, and welcome to the community briefing. Our guest today is Telebah Woods. I almost said Telebah, but Telebah, Telebah Woods. And she is with Bank of America, and she'll be joining us momentarily. My company information is I have my own company, Lifesaver Financial Services, where I help my clients keep more of the money they make and build wealth. And I do that through life insurance solutions. I'm also a financial coach and financial literacy trainer, because I firmly believe that when you feel better about your money, you feel better about your life. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage our South African queen, who just came back from South Africa. And so she'll be sharing some of that with us. But please welcome Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you guys. Yes, I just got back from South Africa, actually on Tuesday afternoon. So I'm a little bit jet lagged. I feel it today. But I got nothing on the calendar today, so hopefully I should be all right. But it was absolutely amazing. So for those of you who have not gone to South Africa, please put that on your list. That was the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And we got to see a great deal of it. We're celebrating my girlfriend's 50th birthday, and she took it to the next level. I felt like a very wealthy human being. We spent the last 3 days at a very exclusive wine villa, and a housekeeper waited on our every move. It was phenomenal. But the country itself, absolutely fantastic. It was just over the top. So welcome to the community briefing with we are so happy to have you. This platform was created for the benefit of making sure that we understand who our leaders and stakeholders are within a community and who are making decisions for us. It is a platform sponsored by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA, sponsored Empowered, and our financial support comes from Southern California Edison, Wells Fargo Bank, and SoCal Gas. We want to thank you for coming.
Front row. All right, she made. Uh-oh. So. All right, now she's back. Are we still recording?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. And then the recording stopped, and then it went back. All so right. I think we're good. you're still jet lagged, and you're still
welcome. This is your. No, this is the internet. I guess it's jet lagged as well. Welcome. Please, this is a platform for you, for us. So make sure you put your contact information in the chat and network with one another. And we are happy to have you. And with that, I'm going to kick it back over to Greg.
Thank you. Is my volume okay? Because I know Crystal was low. I'm good? All right, fantastic. So, Stephen Turner, you want to say anything on the front end today?
After more than a year or so, we've been trying to get Ms. Woods on the community briefing. So it's great to have you here. And a shout out to Gwendolyn, who was instrumental in arranging for this. And we also thank Sierra Smith for joining us, because she has a couple questions for you.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. And our other co-host, Robin Billups, she texted me earlier, so she was delayed getting in to see her doctor this morning. She has treatments on Thursday, and sometimes she gets in early, so she's able to dial in and join us. She doesn't think she'll be able to join us today, but she's hopeful to join us next week. And of course, she does watch the recordings. So our guest today is Telebah Woods, and she is in neighborhood lending, retail banking, and also diversity and inclusion. She is with Bank of America, and she's been there for just short of 17 years. She's currently the Senior Vice President of Neighborhood Lending Strategic Relationships. That means I can borrow a neighborhood? No, I mean lending to the neighborhood, right? Okay, there you go. And so she had been a Senior Vice President of Strategy and Execution Manager, VP of Division of Sales, a Performance Manager, VP Divisional Sales Operations Manager, AVP Regional Sales Consultant, and she was also a Branch Operations Manager. She has a Bachelor of Science degree from Arizona State University, and she looks like she did a diversity inclusion program at Cornell University, hopefully during some temperate months and not in the winter, because Ithaca can get mighty cold, ice cold, in fact. Some of y'all didn't get that, but anyway. So no, Ithaca and Cornell it was the founding of Alpha Phi Alpha, and our Founders Day is this weekend. So it was just a nice coincidence to say Cornell University. So without further delay, please join me in welcoming Telebah Woods. Telebah Woods.
Good morning. Good
Virtual
morning.
stage.
Thank you so much, Gregory. Hopefully everyone can hear me. All right, good deal. Thank you, everyone, for having me on this morning. And Gregory, you did a good job reading my LinkedIn profile. You forget about all the different things you've done until somebody articulates that for you. And so give you a little bit about myself before I get into the pathways to home ownership. I have been in home loans, mortgage lending for over 20 years, kind of off resume, off LinkedIn. I've done a lot of different roles, operations, sales performance, et cetera. I've done almost everything with the exception of actual sales. So I like to tell everybody that first and foremost, that I have not necessarily hit the pavement, but I have been an advocate. I've talked to many family, friends, persons within the community about home ownership, about programs, about products, and things that we can do. I was an underwriter in 2008 when we had the housing crisis. And so, you know, I am all too familiar about what that looks like. When people come back to me today and say, oh my God, interest rates are high. I'm like, compared to what? So, you know, a year ago, absolutely. 10 years ago, not so much. We were at 5 or 6%. 10 years ago and 20 years ago, we were at, 12 to 18%. And so everything we know is relative. And in any segment of business, we know that it goes up and down, and what goes up will come down. So I just recommend everybody who is ready to do a refinance, just be patient. The time is coming. It will, eventually go back down for you guys to get those interest rates that you desire. But for those who are first-time buyers or in the market to purchase, I say get it while the getting is good, which is now at about that 5-6%. Additionally, my background, I am very passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion. As you noted, I did take some coursework in that. I serve as the co-chair for the Black Executive Leadership Team within Bank of America in the Los Angeles market. And I also serve as a regional chair for the West Division for our Black professional group. And so, working with associates who are equally as passionate about me, amplifying all of the wonderful work that Bank of America does internally and externally. I also chair on a board, EXP, that works on workforce development for youth, high school students, underserved minority students in the South Bay area. And so, I continue to kind of walk it as I talk it, so to speak, in those spaces. And so today, thank you, Stephen Turner, again. He's given me an opportunity to talk about pathways to home ownership. We know some buzzwords that are coming about home ownership is generational wealth, and wanting to make sure that as Black African-American folks, we are taking an opportunity to create generational wealth. I have 3 children myself. I am, in position to want to make sure that when the time comes, using my home as a tool and a resource to help them in life, college education, but more importantly, when I'm gone, for them to have that as an asset to create, again, that generational wealth. So I do have a presentation that I'll share on screen. I will preface, though, for this team, I do not have access to chat. So I'm not sure if questions come through chat. If they do, when that time comes, I just will tap on you, Gregory, or someone else to kind of read those to me so that I can respond accordingly.
Yeah, we will. I will let you know that as well on any questions. And one question I forgot to ask you because it wasn't apparent. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Yes, so a little bit. I am an Angelino. I did grow up here in Los Angeles, but I will say that I did not go to high school here. And so a lot of people for several years did not want to say I was from LA because people are like, where you go to high school? Because that matters. So I went to high school in Illinois. I used to live in the north suburb of Chicago. I give people kind of a geographical context, about an hour from Chicago and about an hour from Milwaukee, right in the middle. So kind of best of both worlds of going to those two major cities. I went to school, as you see, at Arizona State, so I started to kind of migrate back west. Once I graduated, which was over 20 years ago, I've been back in California, LA ever since. So now when people ask me, I feel a lot more comfortable to say, yes, I'm from LA, lived in LA. A lot of people now don't usually go back where you went to high school, but that was a small segment of my life where I was somewhere else. All right, well, good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's see, share my screen. All right. Hold on one moment. Let me pull up that document for everyone. And here we are. Share. And I am hopeful, all right, that this is on screen for everyone.
We see a recipe for carrot cake. No, I'm kidding. We see.
Hey, that is my favorite. That is my favorite cake, Gregory, besides red velvet. So appreciate that. All right, so let's kind of jump into it. I'm going to start real foundational because, again, I'm not sure of my complete audience, but just want to make sure that I'm starting from scratch. So is buying a home right for you? Buying a home is an exciting step. This workshop will review the home loan process, help you decide whether you're ready to buy a home. First, consider the benefits of home ownership. Very important, the potential increase in equity as you pay down your mortgage. Again, I kind of started with saying now is the time. The equity benefits that you have, especially in LA City, County, and the state of California, are kind of immeasurable. We, I think, are one of the fastest markets when you think about appreciating value. And so creating that equity is there. As I kind of noted too, it may not be an opportunity right now to refinance depending on what your rates are, but it is definitely a great time to think about a home equity line of credit. I've done so myself over the last few years and have been using it to do some home renovation. So kind of like to throw that in there of how you use the equity to work for you. Next is satisfaction and stability of having a place of your own, avoiding the risk of rental payments going up. I think anybody who lives in the city of Inglewood knows that this is happening. They are kind of edging us out in that particular city just because of all the new developments. And so avoid the risk of rental payments going up, and then your potential tax benefits if interest payments are deductible. I always say talk to your tax preparer in that context. Keep in mind that to buy a home, you'll need savings for a down payment plus closing costs, other upfront fees. And as a homeowner, you'll have to pay for the cost for your landlord may pay today, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs, all things that you want to consider. I will add that later on in this conversation, I will talk about the Community Affordable Loan Solution program that Bank of America launched in Los Angeles as one of the 5 markets that helps you with down payment, closing costs, and other upfront fees. All right, so next slide here. Again, talking about the advantages and perhaps disadvantages of home ownership, potential tax benefits, build equity, pride of ownership, stability, mortgage payments could total less than rent over time. Anybody who has had a friend who was renting and you're a homeowner, I can guarantee you've had one of those conversations where it's like, you pay what in rent? Oh my gosh, you are paying more than what I pay in my mortgage. All the time. I tell people, you know, hey, it is some other things that we have to pay for, you know, as a homeowner. But again, the relationship kind of apples to apples, most renters are paying a lot more and not gaining any benefits from an equity perspective as a renter. Disadvantages, property taxes. Yes, I pay taxes. Homeowners insurance, your upfront down payment and closing costs, a long-term commitment to a location, and then obviously maintenance and repairs. My landlord is not coming into the house to fix my blinds or give me new carpet and things like that. Those costs are on me. Here is one of Bank of America's most dynamic programs that we rolled out a couple of years ago. I would say in 2019, our home ownership commitment started off with $5 billion. Initially, we kind of ran through that $5 billion commitment really quickly through our programs here, and we were able to triple that to 15 billion. And so before I get into the LA kind of program, I want to talk about our program that is available all throughout the United States. Again, it's called our Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment. It's our $15 billion kind of grant program. So this includes our America's Home Grant Program, which offers up to $7,500 in closing cost assistance, our down payment grant program, which offers $10,000 or up to 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. And then last, our affordable loan solution mortgage with a down payment as low as 3%. I will add on this particular screen, the America's Home Grant Program and our down payment grant program can be combined together for a total of $17,500 to assist potential home buyers. As with anything, of course, there are eligibility requirements for this particular program, but I'll add that as a kind of beneficial tool, we have like a platform called our Real Estate Center. It's very similar to a platform, kind of rhymes with pillow, that people love to use to look at MLS listings and look at home ownership values. Again, on the Real Estate Center, you can type in a property that you are potentially looking for or use a zip code of areas that you're interested to live in. And on those particular properties, it'll add an indicator if it qualifies for either America's Home Grant, the down payment grant, or a combination of both. And so you'll know, hey, you know what? I was looking at a property here in Inglewood, and I see that it is eligible for me to receive a total of up to $17,500. And so we think that that is pretty dynamic to help people in their home ownership search. Here again, it goes through qualified borrowers must meet eligibility requirements included, but not limited to being owner occupant. Sometimes, you know, we have people who are looking to use these programs to do investment properties and other things like that. We are really trying to focus on our first-time home buyers, people who want to have these homes as their primary residence. And again, not just helping you get into the home, but having sustained home ownership. And so it's very important, again, moving people from the renter space to the owner space, because we know once it's your own, you take a different type of pride and protection over your property and what you kind of pour back into your community. Let's see, moving on. Here, it kind of outlines a little bit more about each of those particular programs. So I'll start with America's Home Grant. Eligible homebuyers, again, may receive up to $7,500 towards non-recurring closing costs, including your title insurance, your recording fees, in certain situations, your discount points that may be used to lower the interest rate. I'm going to talk a little bit about that because we have been talking about the increase in interest rates. You can use America's Home Grant to help buy down that rate. And what that means is, say it's 6% at 0 points, but at 5.5% interest rate, it may cost you a point. And a point is a percentage of your loan amount. And so you can use a percentage of these fees to say, hey, I want to pay that 1% to bring it down to 5.5%. And now here you are at a lower interest rate for the life of your loan by using America's Home Grant to kind of buy that down. And so some other benefits of this program: no cash back to the borrower, but the grant is subject to interested party kind of contributions. And what that means is, because this is a grant, We're not going to have you walk away with funds kind of cash in pocket, but we will use it towards the loan all day, every day. And a grant is non-repayable. These are funds that we are allocating to you as a client. Available for Bank of America first mortgage loans, so conventional, FHA, and VA. Additionally, although not required, first-time home buyers are encouraged to consider home buyer education and counseling. I can't, compliment some of our kind of connect to own partners, some of our home buyer education partners in the community that really walk you through all of the do's and don'ts and ensure that you are mortgage ready when it comes time for you to purchase your home. The first time buyer home education course is like an 8-hour course, kind of like driver's ed. It kind of goes through the do's and don'ts. You click around, you multitask, you're on your phone, but the counseling component is just hands down so very important. And we work again with nonprofit HUD approved agencies to facilitate that for our customers, really setting you up for success. We can do all we can to help you get in the home, but it's more important to make sure you stay in the home. And last, can be combined with our down payment grant, which is at $10,000 that I mentioned before, and then no tax implications because this is a grant. And so I'm going to go over now to the second half of the community homeownership commitment, and it's our down payment grant. And so the down payment grant is eligible for buyers to receive 3% of the home purchase price or up to $10,000, whichever is less, to be used for your down payment in select markets. No cash back to the borrower. Again, we're not going to walk away with you kind of getting a check, but we'll use it all towards the loan. Grant program is not available with all mortgage products, but our lending specialist here can direct you to clients to talk about what's available through that grant program. And again, that real estate center will help you identify what properties are eligible for this down payment grant. Home buyer education is required on this particular program. So if you're combining them both, where you see it's not required on America's Home Grant, but it is required on down payment grant, you would have to go with the more rigid of the requirements, which is you would take the class. But again, it's an 8-hour course. I see, nothing but it being positive and beneficial to you as a first-time home buyer. Again, it tells you it can be combined, and then program funds may be taxable as income because it is being used as your down payment grant. But we let you know to, again, talk to your tax preparer to go through all of that. To be eligible, home buyers must meet certain requirements. The combined loan to value must be equal to or greater than 80%. Property must be owner occupied. Okay. I know we'll have some questions as we go along through this, but again, kind of want to walk you through some of the available programs and products that we have at Bank of America that are, helpful to pathways to home ownership.
Quick question there. Do the borrowers have to have, what's the threshold for the private mortgage insurance, PMI?
So PMI is when you have a loan that is over 80%. And you will get PMI, and then after you kind of feel like you have built the equity above that, you can get an appraisal to have it removed. And then I will also share as I go through the program later, again, targeted for the Los Angeles market, that program does not have PMI. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And I know we want to get to that, so I won't spend too much time. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of more slides and then get to that one. The last is Affordable Loan Solution, and this is a fixed rate loan, so much different from our grant programs where that is helping you with kind of cash and capital to get into the home. This is a fixed rate loan for eligible borrowers that offers a competitive rate and a down payment as low as 3%. This loan may be a good, responsible option for qualified home buyers who don't have enough savings for a large down payment. We always encourage everyone to save what you can. You will need to have a history of savings because, again, we want to make sure you're set up for success. But again, here are some other options and solutions for you. Highlights of the program: competitive rates with a down payment as low as 3%. Mortgage insurance is required. However, it is at a reduced cost compared to most conventional loans because it's not FHA. Non-traditional credit is allowed. LTV, CLTV, and debt to income restrictions may apply. Co-ops or an acceptable property type, not really as popular in California. Non-occupant co-borrowers, meaning a person who is not living in the home, can sign on with you as a co-borrower. That helps when there are younger folks buying and they need like their parents to help them out. Education is required, counseling is available, approved secondary financing. So I will add that we have a lot of community partners that we work with, and in the city, county, and state of California, there are a lot of programs available. I have a loan officer here that I will add has helped a client and layered them with multiple grant opportunities up to 6 times. When they moved in their home, they already had 30% equity, done into their home. They were at a 70% loan to value. And so working with someone who is going to be an advocate for you, looking at all different pathways to make sure that you get in there with little, out of pocket is the way to go. Option grants and gifts allowed as long as they are from eligible sources. Maximum income loan amount limits apply, and then allows non-permanent resident aliens under the same terms and conditions as U.S. citizens. So all, again, benefits of this particular 3% down mortgage product with Bank of America. I'll pause here and just say that, again, I've noted that we have a lot of nonprofit HUD counseling agencies that we partner for with education, with counseling. We have lending specialists that are available throughout the city that are in our financial centers. This particular program, it's not one of those things like, hurry up, the money is running out. We have committed to wanting to be in this space and doing grants. We started at $5 billion. We tripled that to $15 billion. We're about halfway through that $15 billion, so we still have time. And again, I think now is the time for anyone considering to be a homeowner to get out there and do it. I had a friend who's visiting. She's lived in LA, and she just came. She says, "Man, I'm driving down, Crenshaw, and all these buildings are going up and going up." We know that the appetite has been to, put up more apartments. And in LA, the only way we can go is kind of vertical living these days with going up because we don't have a lot of inventory. At one point, it was a seller's market where sellers were getting, 15, 20 offers and people were going, way above and beyond the asking price. But it's not so much that. It's kind of balanced out a little bit. I'll share, I live right here in LA, close to Inglewood, and my property value has gone up and people have been selling. But I've noticed people are starting to like, oh, wait a minute, I did go up, but let me kind of be a little bit more reasonable. Those offers are not, so demanding. They're not receiving 20 at a time now. And so it's kind of becoming more of a buyer's market again for people to kind of, negotiate and work with those agents to help them be in a good space. And so, now is the time. The next slide, again, is going to focus on our new product. And I know, and Stephen initially reached out to me, this is really what he wanted me to focus on. And at the time, we were kind of at a posture where we weren't sure if we could share this information. We did a couple of community roundtables. It was talked about on different platforms. People on TikTok was talking about it. It's this, it's that, it's not good, it is good. But now we're in a position to kind of use platforms such as this one to kind of talk about it and give some clarity around the program. And so the Community Affordable Loan Solution Mortgage is expanding access to home ownership. This is available in select markets. And as you can see here, we have identified 5 to start with, and Los Angeles is one of them. And so let me walk you through this, and then I'll wrap for any questions. The down payment provided. I think the sensationalized headline was no down payment. And everybody was like, no down payment, sign me up. How do I get in there? It wasn't necessarily that it is no down payment. However, Bank of America makes the down payment on your behalf. And so you see a down payment grant is provided and does not require repayment. In the first 3 markets, Charlotte, Dallas, and Detroit, it is $10,000, but in Los Angeles and Miami, it is $15,000. I think everyone can identify why both of these markets have a higher down payment grant based on our high cost here in these markets. And so home buyers are welcome to put more money down, but it is not required. So, hey, if you already were saving for a home and you have an extra $5,000 or $10,000 that you want to put, we welcome that because it's only going to put you in a better position and set you up in the same way to kind of reduce your payment and, again, set you up for equity kind of long term. Loan to value is up to 100% or 100% on your combined loan to value for single property with an approved community second. Again, I kind of talked about those community seconds and how we can layer these programs to get us in a good position. All customary borrower non-reclosing costs are waived. So anything that is not going to happen again, not recurring, like an appraisal, is waived. We cover that. Again, a big win for a client as a first-time home buyer. Available for purchase of a owner-occupied primary residence. Very important that, and that's why it's highlighted. We are trying to move the dial from renters to owners, because we know that, again, the pride and protection and what you'll pour back into your community. So owner-occupied primary residence, this is where you're going to live. I was kind of talking about this at Taste the Soul. We had a booth, and I had a couple of people who were investors coming up to me like, I can't use this, man. And I'm like, no, not necessarily. But since you already are familiar with home loans, you're investing, which I'm happy to see and love to hear. Talk to your family and your friends who are, first-time home buyers and trying to get in. And I will add that here, which is noted, that first-time home buyers are defined as having no ownership interest, sole or joint, in a residential property in the last 3 years. Okay, and so you may have owned property 10 years ago, and now you have it in the last 10 years. Now you can go ahead and be defined again as a first-time home buyer. No minimum credit score is required. Another big thing, clients must meet credit history guidelines, but non-traditional credit is allowed. Meaning, if you have a credit profile and it's just bad, we will work with you to improve it, to help you, set you up and do all of that. But if you have no history of credit, meaning you've never gotten a credit card, you've never done that, your profile is kind of non-existent, we will use non-traditional credit. History of you paying your rent for the last 12 months, insurance payments, not car notes, but private payments and things like that. Here, no mortgage insurance required. I know, Gregory, you asked about that. This particular program does not have that. Grants and gift funds available. Again, non-permanent resident alien under the same conditions as U.S. citizens. And then last but not least, the Community Affordable Loan Solution requires both, not one or the other. Home buyer certification, which is the 8-hour course, and one-on-one counseling is required prior to the application. Because again, we want to use this particular program for people who are considered mortgage ready. And so we want you to work with a counselor before you embark on this journey to ensure that you are ready for this particular process. And so that kind of wraps up the Community Affordable Loan Solution Program that is specific for the LA market. And then my last few slides are only about resources. But I'll look to Gregory or Stephen to see where we are on time.
We're good time-wise. We have a few questions. So if you're ready for questions, or if you have a couple things you want to close out with, and then we'll take questions. Your call.
Absolutely. I'll go through these really quickly. Some resources is Bank of America has our down payment center. This will outline all of the available down payment programs that we have, as well as others that are available to you in certain markets. And so easy call out here, bankofamerica.com/down payment center. The next one is our Bank of America First Time Homebuyer Online Edu Series, bankofamerica.com/homebuyer. Kind of goes through some Edu Series just to kind of outline, what are the expectations. We're actually going to be revamping them soon, but they're available to you online. Here is the Real Estate Center that I talked about. I recommend anybody going on here. If you're currently a homeowner, go on there, bankofamerica.com, Real Estate Center, look up your own property value. I do all the time to see what's happening in the market. And again, you can put in a zip code. You can type in LA, Los Angeles, California, and see what pops up all for LA. Is going to show you properties that are eligible for all of the grant programs that we have with a little small indicator. And then here again, just all different stuff. Better Money Habits is a Bank of America site that walks you through all types of savings, investing, home ownership solutions, and helps you and things like that. And so I want to make sure that I'm always giving you free resources to help you on your pathway to home ownership, but any other areas for your financial needs. And so that is it from me, and I will take questions now.
Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing that. A couple of questions. I have some, but I'm going to take some from the audience first. One is, what is the average income of people seeking these home ownership opportunities? And then that's one, how could low income earners benefit from any of these home ownership resources? So I guess what's that threshold, here in the county?
So what I will tell you on the Community Affordable Loan Solution Program, which is focused on LA County, we do 150% of the area median income is the max, which comes out to roughly 120,000-ish for income threshold. For the rest, you can go on there and they'll kind of identify what the thresholds are. I will say on the real estate center, when you hover over specific properties, it actually tells you what the maximum income limits are for those particular properties using the grant program. But again, it's around 150% of the area median income. And we've had a lot of discussion about that, whether or not that's good or bad, in LA, because we know that 120,000 sometimes is still not going to set you up in the right way for the properties here that are like 650,000, so a lot of discussion happening there as well.
Got it. Let's see. The point buy, is there a limit on the point buy down? I know you mentioned a half a point. Are you able to buy down more than that?
It depends on what you're using. So that was just an example. It depends on how the funds are being allocated and what you have over to buy down the rate. So it could be a half a point. It could be 3/8 of a point. It could be a point.
Got it. Let's see. Someone here, I think, has the same question as I. Which is, help for those who are self-employed. Question, what type of consideration is given to entrepreneurs who do not have a W-2? Because it's extremely more difficult for self-employed people. I went through that challenge being self-employed and had to battle with the underwriter on issues because they were double counting a car lease. Because they were attributed to me personally, but it was also in the business. It's like you can't deduct it in both places. Mm-hmm. You have to.
That's it, Gregory. They was trying to get you. No, I will say we welcome entrepreneurs. The number one thing, my husband is self-employed. I have been an underwriter. I've underwritten many self-employed loans. It's the 2-year history. And so wanting to make sure that if you are self-employed, you have a history of being self-employed, you have a history of making income on your taxes and can show that. What I have identified sometimes is we love to write everything off. And then when we're trying to purchase, it shows that you're not making any money because it had benefited you on the front end and now on the back end, not so much. And so we want to make sure that you understand those underwriting complexities when you're going through your tax forms. But yes, we welcome entrepreneurs. These programs are able to be used with people who are self-employed. You just have to go through the normal guidelines of a conventional loan when looking at that 2-year history or more, bank statements, bank accounts, et cetera.
And is there some leniency in the underwriting there for self-employed to help, kind of with that? Because, a lot of people, here have switched from W-2 to 1099 or gig workers. And I think, what was that, driven by Dodd-Frank? I don't know where that is in terms of legislation, but it's onerous and it's really, it's because you're trying to minimize your your tax payments, but then that minimizes the income qualifying for the because when they look at salary, they're looking at just gross income. They're not looking at their net,
No, exactly. And so not to kind of, speak on behalf of our current underwriting team, I think it will definitely depend on the entire profile of the client. I don't want to say, yes, we're giving leniency to people who are entrepreneurs. And then someone tries to come in and say, Telebah said on the Stephen Turner podcast, community briefing, that you guys are doing that. I will just say that we welcome entrepreneurs, we welcome self-employed clients to take advantage of these particular products and programs, and we have to look at the complete profile. I can't say that someone who was W-2'd and then 6 months later, now they're 1099, what that looks like when we're going through that underwriting process. But again, talk to a lending specialist who can kind of walk you through what that looks like. That is the expert in the process to make sure that they're having constant communication with the underwriter and that whatever the decisions are, you get that upfront and fast.
And is there a dedicated underwriting department, or is it going into general underwriting and they're generally located in some other state. They're not even
No,
here in California.
we actually, no, we have underwriting teams that are here locally. They're not all farmed out everywhere. And we have made a commitment to want to make sure that people kind of understand the markets in which they're underwriting. That has come up several times. So I can share that, no, these are kind of people who are dedicated to, you know, different kind of programs, products, and even types of borrowers.
There was a request for, will you be able to share the PowerPoint? I know it's, you know, it's we're being recorded, so you'll have access to it that way. But is this a PowerPoint that is either on the site or available for the general public?
Yes, so the resources that I have are listed here available, and you can start by just doing the bankofamerica.com, clicking on home buyer, and it'll take you through all of the information I shared today. I will add that I am not 100% sure that the community affordable loan solution, which is the one here in the LA market, is posted, because we want to make sure that we are presenting it, kind of taking away all of the misnomers, answering questions, but everything else relative to the $15 billion commitment, which has been in place since like 2019, is available. And all of the other resources, again, are available.
There's a question here about, does the program cover people who want to buy out of state? So I imagine it's a general program, and then I believe one of the other programs you put up there, the down payment program, that was just 5, not even states, those were 5
markets.
Markets, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Correct. So the $15 billion commitment, which is why I started with that first, because again, I'm not sure where the complete audience is coming from, covers the entire U.S. So I strongly encourage you to see which ones are in which markets, but it covers up to like 69 different markets throughout the U.S. Obviously places where we have a Bank of America footprint and things like that. And again, use that real estate center. It's not specific to California. It is all over for you to type in addresses, zip codes, specific cities or markets to check.
Is there flexibility in the purchasing? We posed this to another lender with families, maybe 2 or 3 families that want to collaborate on purchasing a duplex or a triplex, where they're collectively borrowing on a single. I guess it's a single lot, but it's got multiple structures on a lot. So
exactly, we do welcome multiple borrowers. So, for example, on the one that's specific to the LA market, that does service 2 to 4 units. Just wanting to keep in mind that the maximum income threshold will still apply. So the more people you have on the loan, you don't want to go past that 120,000. But the other grant programs that we have, yes, are open to 2 to 4 units. For people to explore that option as well, because we know, like me and my family here, you know, my grandmother and whoever or whatever is in this unit and so forth. And then how those particular rents, if you decide to use rents on other units, how that plays into the larger underwriting portion of that from your income perspective. But yes, we welcome 2 to 4 units and can use these grant programs with 2 to 4 units.
Again, my New York background's coming through, but I haven't seen here in this market much in the way of cooperative apartments, you know, versus condo. Do they exist? Are they here? Or?
No, that was the thing. I had mentioned early on, we had something that says it's applicable to co-ops, but I know here in California, we really don't have co-ops. But for the markets that do, yes, eligible for our community homeownership commitment, co-ops are eligible.
The home buyer education, is that something that the bank offers, or with their own staff, or do they farm that out, or is there?
Yes, we work with partners for you to be able to do that. So our lending specialist can identify some folks in area to say, hey, this particular partner offers the home buyer education. You can go here, but we don't actually facilitate the actual training. And once you receive that certificate, you provide it back to us and we have it uploaded to your file.
And then if any of our viewers are interested in being one of those partners, how does that work?
If they have, if anyone is on the line that is an executive director or CEO of a nonprofit housing agency that is HUD approved, I welcome you to reach out to me to become a Bank of America Connect to Own partner. We do work with HUD approved agencies. And so you have to go through a couple of steps to ensure that you are HUD approved in order to do that.
And the last question here is, how can we here at the community briefing, the Black Business Association and the Recycling Black Dollars, and some of our other community-based organizations be a resource to you in your capacity?
So, using this particular platform to amplify the programs, products, and grant opportunities that we have is kind of doing the work. I appreciate, again, the opportunity to come share information about Bank of America, to share information about myself. I am an advocate, again, for home ownership. I think everybody, should take advantage and have the opportunity to have something of their own. Again, the pride, protection, and what we pour back into the community when we have our home is so important. So continue to just do this. Have people, talk about Bank of America as, an institution where clients will have these different opportunities. We may not be for everyone. And, in some conferences and spaces that I've been in, they're like, oh, that's the competition. I'm not competition. We are all here to work together to help move the dial forward from homeownership for Black African-American people and underserved minorities all up. So, again, I appreciate the opportunity, and that's how this platform has helped today.
Cool. Does anyone have a question that we didn't? And can you pull the screen share down?
I absolutely can. Thank you so much.
Go back to the our gallery.
Yes.
So you can see all those wonderful smiling faces that we have here. Let's see.
Let's see. Do I? Ooh, it says no, not new share. Did I stop? Did I stop the share?
You got
okay,
it.
good deal.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are there opportunities for Black vendors that are in the housing marketplace with B of A, such as appraisers and attorneys? That was another question.
Oh, that's not my sweet spot, but I can imagine that it is. I will share that appraisers, and we need more minority appraisers. As we know, it's come up in the news lots of times what happens in that space. And so I welcome you to kind of look that up. But again, that's not my particular sweet spot to say. Yeah, come on over. But yeah.
With the cost of real estate here in Los Angeles, what does the future look like for the average homeowner or a prospective homeowner that wants to buy, being that the costs are so prohibitive for the average person in this city?
I will say that the narrative being painted is like it's doom gloom, like we're not going to get there. It is incredibly hard. And it is, I don't want to make light of the situation. And I recall a couple years back, I was at the California Association of Real Estate Agents. I was at a conference, and the woman stood up and she goes, "Hey, who's single?" And everybody's like, "This is weird. Why are you asking who's single here?" People were kind of like, "Yeah." And she says, "I need y'all to get together to afford to buy a home here in California." And we all kind of took a laugh at it, but it was to say that, the average home price, even here in LA County, is high and it is hard. But that's why we want to be very intentional about bringing forward programs, grant opportunities for people to be able to do it. Yes, but we have to do some work. Absolutely. Nothing's going to come to us easy. But I think that on, positive note, that we are going to, move the needle forward with respect to Black homeownership. It has, what I would say, been kind of stagnant, over the last few years, but it is looking very promising. And we are wanting to make sure that we are providing access to capital. We are, looking at credit in a different way so that we can achieve it. And we are partnering with, again, some dynamic folks within the community, our HUD counseling agencies, to be able to continue to kind of amplify and give us feedback on, hey, this didn't work, this did work, how can we do it? I mean, for us to be able to do this program dedicated to the LA market took a lot of work, but it took feedback from so many community leaders for us to be able to do it. So I think promising, Crystal.
Thank you. I have, nephews that are out of college and making their way, and one of my nephews definitely wants to buy a condo or something. He's ready to be on his own, but of course it looks really it does look bleak. Mm-hmm. What is the maximum income, say a young person just coming out and he's working and they're working, they need to do to qualify for any of the programs that you guys have?
Yeah, I would always start with education is key. So that's most important. You don't know what you don't know. And a lot of people think that home ownership is like, oh my God, I need to come with the 20% down. And so I'm telling you today, there are programs out there that's going to give you some free money. There are programs where you only are required to put 3%, but it's bigger than, just saving the money. That's important, having the good job. Everything is about, consistency, sustaining. And so, as you said, college graduates, I have sons, older sons, and same thing. They're looking like, okay, what does it look like for me? And so education, we have free resources that are available online to not only help them learn about the home education process, but it's going to help them learn about the savings and investing too, so that they can have the money that they want to have to kind of put down, or, talking to different people within the business to understand, more than ever, I would say our millennials are like moving the dial. They're the ones who are talking about, hey, I pieced up with my friend and got 5,000. We did 5,000, another 5,000, and, investing and buying these properties and stuff like that. And so, again, education is the first avenue that I'm going to tell anyone to explore when they're thinking about home ownership.
Okay. Tracy, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I got on late and I'm not sure if this was covered. Hello.
Hi.
Now, can you on families using what they have? And I know it's because I just did it with my son. We had to refinance another piece of property to help him get a duplex. And that's hard because here you are going through that process on two sides. Can you talk on that? Because you know how we're kind of more like someone in the family has passed, and that money, that quick money that you get from the sale of the home sounds good. But I guess another education is teaching us to hold on those properties that we may have and use them to help our children.
I think I kind of got what you were saying, Ms. Watson, but what I'll say, with respect to kind of how we started was that generational wealth, outlook and perspective. I can't get into the kind of weeds. I don't think about when someone passes and what to do. What I will say is you want to make sure you have your affairs in order, so that when someone does pass, we're not going through probate to try to get these properties. We're missing out on those equity opportunities while using the property. I think that the way you started was saying you were able to refinance and use some of the funds within your property to help your son acquire a duplex kind of speaks to why homeownership is so important, because you were able to use, your property to help him do that. And that is what we want to see more of. And so, if you have a property, it's kind of off topic, but we want to make sure you kind of get your trust documents in order, so to speak, or, your vesting correct, so that if someone does pass on, the property can kind of go to the next generation of family, to your point, not just taking the quick money and losing out on the long-term equity benefit. And I hope I'm kind of answering that in the right way. But again, we want to make sure that we're using these properties in the right way.
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One last question. Does the B of A have employment opportunities here in the local area, Los Angeles area? I know you guys are headquartered, I think, in Charlotte.
Yes.
Is there something here other than branch operations?
Oh, I love the question, Gregory, and whomever put that in. Bank of America is always welcoming new folks. I welcome anyone to go to bankofamerica.com/careers and look and see what opportunities we have, not only in our financial centers, but I welcome anybody who wants to look into our financial centers. They are the face of the organization, dynamic specialists within our financial centers, from home mortgage, from small business to financial solutions. But we also have lots of opportunities in all lines of business and segments of business. And so, yes, we welcome that. And I will share, again, as the co-chair of the Black Executive Leadership Team and our Black Professional Group, we always are looking for Black African-American talent in LA City, County, California, and the entire US. So please, please, please look on the website.
Awesome. Awesome. Yolanda, you had a question?
It was more of a comment to you all. I don't know how many of you saw the Grigio Awards on Saturday that Byron Allen gave out. So Don Peebles was one of the recipient, the icon real estate billionaire. And he said something that was so profound to me. It's just changed my whole way that I feel about this work that I do. He said that $85 trillion are made in America every year in the economics. And of the 85 trillion that's made, 84 trillion is made by white men. And 1 trillion is made by women, white women, Black people, Latinx, Asian. So we only make up 1 trillion of the 85 trillion that is made economically in this country. And so what Telebah is teaching us about today is huge. And we know, and what Don Peebles said is the systemic and institutionalized racism in the banking system has lent itself over the centuries, right? From slavery and beyond to why we're in this place. So, you know, in our program in the Knowledge Shop, we're going to be building a whole legacy home ownership wealth training model. And I would encourage all of us, Crystal, in the community briefing to be working alongside nonprofits in 2023 to really address what Telebah, it's not just, you know, 13, 19 of us learning this today. How can we ensure that across the gentrification of Central Los Angeles, we change that thinking? And we've got to start with educating our children at school, as well as our parents currently. So if anyone's interested in having the conversation with me, my email's in the chat, because we definitely have to do something about this.
Oh, man, Yolanda, I didn't pay her, guys, for that. And I appreciate your comments. That is a wonderful way to kind of crystallize, you know, what I presented today and how important it is for us, again, to anchor ourselves in the educational component. That is how we get there. And so, you know, we want to start learning more about home ownership. You know, I welcome anybody to reach out to us. We will do what is called Better Money Habit sessions in small pockets to teach people about different aspects of financial literacy. And so I don't want to kind of say too much more about that, because you hit it on the head. And I appreciate your comments, Yolanda.
Stephen, who we have next week? Oh, he's gone.
I think we
I hope I didn't scare him off, Gregory.
No. There is one question. I think, who is this? Janet says, is there any programs out there for someone trying to buy a second home?
Yes, I welcome you to, you know, look on our website, see what opportunities are out there. Our immediate focus always starts with the first-time home buyer, owner-occupied primary residence, but there are other opportunities for people who are seeking second homes or investment property.
Okay, and I'm gonna get who our speaker is next week. I think it's Michael Anderson, actually. Yeah, Michael Anderson, president of Anderson Barker Architects. So
yep.
Michael is working on a project somewhere on the South Central LA area, and he's going to talk about his program. And I think it's supposed to be a pretty phenomenal for those of us that are African American. Thank you so much, Ms. Woods. You are absolutely awesome. I know that question on when that advertisement came out, and I know myself was like, I don't know if that sounds real to me.
No, I have friends, Crystal, that know I work for the bank, know I work in neighborhood and community lending, and still text me like, is this real? I'm like, dog, yes. You know,
yeah,
so
nobody was believing it was. My sister's a realtor, and she's like, I don't know.
No, it is
and you
real.
Didn't bring any free samples for us today, right?
like a house or two.
Right. Look. What do they say? It's Christmas giving. Oprah, you get a mortgage, you get a grant, you get a...
Right, exactly. But we do want to thank you for bringing this information to us. This is what this platform is about, because we hear things and we don't have the people that we can ask, right? And whether or not, so a lot of times we pass up on opportunities because it sounds too good to be true. And And so we're like, no, that's not for us, and it's not going to help us. But I do know this. One of the things that I guess I took away from coming back from South Africa is that around the world, Black people are in such a precarious situation due to slavery, and that we're the last person on the totem pole when we talk about building wealth and legacy for our families and for our children. And it really resonates today because our kids are coming out of school with these huge loans that really put them behind the 8 ball. So when it comes to buying real estate, which is the foundation of building wealth, is having being a homeowner as opposed to giving all your money to someone else that's owning the building. So this has been a great information. I'll make sure that it gets disseminated out and we get it to everyone, because we do have to change our economic status, our legacy of wealth in this country, so that we will have more freedom, just like Yolanda says, because right now it does look bleak. When you're 25 and under 30 and you're like, I can't even get what my parents have. You know, I have to rent for the rest of my life, and rent's not a big, easy thing either. $2,500 a month is ridiculous, right? That's a mortgage on a big house. So thank you so much, and thank you for the work that you're doing, and please feel free to come back anytime with any information, so we won't be going, is that true? Is that really true?
No, I've seen it on TikTok. It must be true.
All right. So next time something come up, we want to make sure you come and say, yeah, that's true, or no, that's not true.
Or no, that's not. I will come be a Mythbuster any day. So thank you so much again, Crystal, Gregory, everyone on the call, Stephen. I know he's somewhere. Thank you again for the opportunity. And again, feel free to reach out for any and all of your needs, whether it's home ownership or any financial literacy. We are here to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. And there's some things in the chat that are thanking you and praising your presentation. Learned a lot today. Thank you for the presentation. It was lightning. I love South Africa. Thank you for your presentation. You sharing information. That's from Constance. Sarah had to leave. She's got to go. Great information. So you got praises.
All right. I'll take that any day, Gregory. Thank you so much. I don't have the chat, so I appreciate you reading that off to me.
Well, we're glad to have you guys. It's 12:04. Thank you guys for being here with us, and we will be back here next Thursday at the same time, 11 a.m. So please come back and join us, and continue to share this information. The video is on Facebook, so go to our Facebook, the Recycling Black Dollars Facebook page, and share it. Share it, because this was great information. So make sure you get it out too, and especially for our millennials and our Gen X's that are really questioning whether or not they can stay in the state of California in order to buy property and raise their families. So see you guys next week. I'm going to go take a nap.
You might be able to stay in California, but I don't know about Los Angeles.
That's true. Jessica, feel better. Get over your COVID. Michael, good to have you. Haven't seen you in a little while. Renee and Ashley, welcome, welcome, welcome. All righty. I'm going to stop the recording. And stop the live. What happened? You have to stop the live, I think, Greg, because you're the...
Okay. When I hit...
She should say stop the recording. Stop the... There you go. Oh, no, it's not. It's still live. You see it?
I see record.
See right next to the Facebook. I think if you do that drop down.
No, it's just saying record on this computer, record to the cloud.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to stop it when I stop the presentation. I don't know what happened here. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see...
All righty. It just says view it on Facebook.
I don't think it's recording now anyway.
Well, no, it's not recording. It's still live, though.
Oh.
Oh, well, we'll hang up. We'll leave and it'll go off.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.